I don't remember why we were bringing this one back.
Okay with everyone, I think the call is in order.
I do.
I do.
So at 3.
302.
302, 303?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any changes we need to make on the agenda. Pretty self-explanatory. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Old business, we just wanted the, on the student clubs policy, we were gonna move to accept the School Board Association model policy and their, but we wanted everyone to be involved with that vote. To go before the board at the next schedule. Here we go. So is everyone okay with that, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Move that forward. A21, public participation of board meetings was yours, Karen, and it was, again, an issue with attendance at the last meeting, bringing it to full review for the school board. Are there any other changes that anyone has, wording wise on that one?
I think this was the one we wanted to use the Maple Run policy because it had more language
more
than,
specificity.
yeah, than the VSBA policy. And I think that the only, yeah, there wasn't anything that was on VSBA only, but there were several things that were Maple Run only, and they were just being a little bit more specific about public comment in particular section. I can review them, Bill, if you want me to go through them, or if you feel okay with that.
What are the main differences?
Yeah, so, the main difference is, under implementation, the first two sentences there really around public participation. Those are Maple Run only. The other things that are Maple Run only, really center around public comment. So the public comment, in the VSBA one, it breaks it out by things on the agenda and not on the agenda. In the Maple Run, it puts them all under one, but it gives more language around the setting aside time on the agenda for public comment, and then that people can only address the board items on the agenda. And that the board can use its discretion to allow additional time for visitors. And then a visitor should not expect the board to engage in conversation or answer questions directly, but that the board may decide to do that. So it just gives a little bit, the VSBA one is just really small around that there is a public comment section, and the chair can do a speaker list, and that there can be time set aside for items not on the agenda. The Maple Run one has more language about whether people can ask clarifying questions, and the board's response, whether they choose to respond or not. So I think it gives a little bit more language for the board to be able to determine how it's going to handle public comments in particular, in relation to agenda items than the VSBA one.
It does say on line 31 that regardless of whether or not it's on.
Yeah, sorry, yes, thank you. And I think the other one, Oh, the other thing that's in here is the board can cut short number 8. The board can cut short any testimony that becomes disrespectful or inflammatory. That was not on the VSBA one. And I think the last time we talked about just that these were some of the things that came up as a result of some things that we learned along the way.
Jess, any questions?
No, I'm okay with the Maple Run policy.
All right, so we'll bring it for
Well, I think you just need to tell the board to review it,
the, oh,
and that you're gonna stay with that as it is. And that can just be an update,
okay,
even if the next board meeting, we're not gonna take any action
okay.
to keep it in place. Perfect, we just update the matrix spreadsheet.
All right, and C12, the Title IX sexual harassment policy. Was that was you?
Yep, that was me. That's long.
Yeah.
So I read through both, there really are no, everything that's in the model policy is included in the Maple Run policy, just some formatting things. There are some corrections that are needed to Maple Run policy that, and I've written them all out here, Aaron, I'll just run through them from here, but then I'll just give you this, if everyone's good with them.
Thank you.
Specifically, so I'm looking at the Maple Run policy. On page 4, paragraph N, limitation of scope, should not be its own paragraph. That should be a sub-paragraph of paragraph M. It's limiting the scope of retaliation. And then likewise, number 3, so N3, sexual harassment, that should be paragraph N. That's the actual definition of sexual harassment. So that should be popped out and then everything renumbered after that to make that correct. There are a few times when this refers to the actual definition of sexual harassment, and if you go back and look for it, it's not listed correctly. All the same.
Oh, yeah, I see exactly what you mean, comparing it to the one from the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The state has some inaccuracies in it as well.
Okay.
I won't touch on those.
So going forward from what's in
So-
3, sexual harassment down,
Sexual harassment should be listed as N, not number 3.
okay?
And then 4, 5, and 6 would be changed to 1, 2, and 3. The next thing I found was on page 15. And again, in paragraph C2, it's referring to the sexual harassment definition, so it calls it 2M, that needs to be updated to 2N. Because 2N actually refers to retaliation and not sexual harassment.
Yeah. Good catch.
Yeah.
There's a few. Page 16, this one's not a big one. D3B, the requirements of the information resolution process, that should be informal resolution process, it's just a typo. This one's kind of nitpicky, page 18. F1, everywhere else in this refers to the Title IX coordinator, and this, under the initial decision maker section, it just says 9 coordinator. So you should include the word title in front of that. Page 19, the very top, under section A, it's the same thing, that should be 2N and not 2M because it's referring to the sexual harassment definition.
Which section are you in?
Page 19, the very top under A,
Yeah.
it should just be 2N, not 2M.
Yeah.
Page 23. Look kind of in the middle, it shows supportive measures. And then it gives a definition in section 2N, That should actually be 2O. Going too fast, and I'll just cut it off. And I'll give this to you. Page 25. Under both decision makers, number 3, and investigators, number 4, it says it refers it to section 2D2. That's very incorrect. It should be 5F2 for both of those, because it's referring just back to earlier within this section. And then on the very last 5C, I'm just suggesting some language be deleted. We just say be made available to the public on its website. This talks about making materials available on paper. Everywhere else within the policy, it just says on the website. And it seems like this just was not edited to fall in line with the rest of the policy. And that also lines up with section 3F4. It's consistent with what's said, the same exact thing as section 3F4. It doesn't talk about making paper available. And the very last page, page 26, I suppose this would be for our consideration. It lists these designated districts compliance officers. First, I know the compliance officer, everything else calls it a Title IX compliance coordinator. There's no definition of a compliance officer. But then I would also put the idea of just removing this totally out of the policy. Other places within the policy say that this information has to be kept up to date on websites, in school handbooks. This is just another place to update this information when it changes. And this is from 2020. I don't know about, I don't even know if all of these people are still accurate within these roles, if these are the correct contact information. I'm assuming it probably hasn't been looked at since 2020, so.
No, actually, this is up to date.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan's in there.
We
Okay.
try to keep it up to date.
Okay, if everyone wants to keep it in, that's fine. In my mind, it's just another place to keep it updated, and the policy requires it to be updated in several other places already, but it never mentions requiring it to be updated within the policy itself.
I feel like I reviewed a policy that had it saying something about who the person was, and we just said, like, refer to the, just trying to remember, do you know if in all the other policies, if there is a designated person that it was put in the policy? Is that like a consistent practice?
Procedures, right? It's in the procedures in HHP.
I'm just
I'm just
trying to
looking
think
at it.
about, I'm just like wondering what are the consistent practices with other policies that have named people?
No,
Does it name them, or does it? Just curious, I just can't remember which one I reviewed that had people in it.
HHP, it doesn't.
Is that what it's called?
I believe it's just kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, we could ask Mark at Lumen and Blackman about if we need to have this in the policy, so I don't.
I would think the policy would lead to our
Okay.
say,
Yeah, you're right, you post it other places. And you
not people,
No.
just because
Yeah.
people change
Yeah,
procedures, yeah.
yeah, procedures, handbooks, all of those places, we have to declare who they are.
I don't think it's a big.
Well, we asked Mark real quick, but I think you're right. I think it's good. One more. I don't see it in the model policy from BSBA, if there's any listing of personnel, so.
I don't know what the title, it was the section 504 one.
Okay,
Hold on. What did we say? I'm just curious. No, they were all in there. The contacts were all in the section 5041 at the end. Wow, you updated a lot of places.
yeah,
I was just curious. So it does, there are other policies that have the people named for different things, if that matters.
you can see it, you can put it if you want, you know, if that has to be there or not, if it changed before. If we can take them out and put them in other places.
Yes.
Or just put a statement, the coordinators for each building are listed in the handbook, under procedure and the handbook.
That's already, section 3F2 requires it in the handbook and on the website.
Yeah.
So it's already in the policy saying it's required, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think in the policy, it's better to just list the actual position than the individual's name. And then you can find the name on the website. It just makes it less to update.
So everything else, the content is all the same as the model policy, it's just those corrections.
Some of those errors I saw right in the model that came from BSBA, so that's great.
Come on, stuff.
Mistake too.
Do you want copies now?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Alright. Hey Joanne. Hi, sorry. Okay, just got rear-ended, right on the.
Oh,
But you're okay.
I'm,
Good.
I was stopped. I was like, were you on your phone? He said, no, I was just looking over at the courthouse. Oh, no.
oh.
Big truck. Little dent stuff.
Okay.
Glad you're okay. Yeah.
Glad you're okay.
Thanks, yeah. No, totally fine. Just trying to be on time, you know?
That's how it works.
Included in our packet is the revisions for the policy. Do we have to do anything about this?
Really, it's about some of the special education. So really, there's a code change for the special ed. It's going from required to a recommended policy, but I think it's fine if we have it. I was actually saying to Aaron, when we were prepping for this meeting, that I was actually shocked because in every time we've had a special education review, the first thing they ask is, what's your special education policy? So maybe that's something that's just changed. We haven't had a special ed review in 2 years here. But they're changing numbers and there's some legal reference changes. I don't think I missed anything else from what we talked about.
That's it.
So you'll see those in here, but I still recommend to this group and I would to the whole board that we keep the policy.
Do you know what the reason is that it's shifted from required to recommended? Did they give you like a, I'm just curious, it seems like an interesting decision. Okay. Fair enough.
And the only reason I know that is because I looked on the website,
Right,
Aaron pointed to me on the website, I said, really, this isn't required?
yeah, it's,
Go to the
that's
website.
interesting. Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Okay.
So there's some legal references, so I would suggest taking the changes, and change the code number.
But we don't have anyone reviewing these, right? So that's.
Not that I can think of this, yeah.
It was discussed by having possibly Andrea Rasick, the special education
Yeah.
director, and Brian King possibly
Yeah.
joining. But I did end up meeting with them and then just recording the changes here because they couldn't be with us today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are their recommendations.
These are their
recommendations,
These right here.
yeah.
Okay.
If the committee's good with it, then go to the full board.
Okay. Did everyone hear that on the special ed? They had Andrea Rasick and Brianna,
Yeah, Brianne did the conflict.
Brianne. And these are the recommendations that they brought forward. So if everyone is good with these, based on those policies, then we'll just move it to the full board.
And this is just 5A? Yeah,
Yeah,
gotcha. Thank you.
That also goes
Yeah, so-
582.
582, Brianne did all that review for you there.
Okay, so she's
So on F24.
reformatted and digitally. Okay. So we'll bring both of those before the full board.
And did we do, I thought we did average class size.
We did that last year, I think, 4.
So do we have to do it in here as a formality or?
I don't think so. I think it's something that,
Okay, just leave it at, because it says on here 8/15/2023.
right, 8/15/2023, sorry, I'm just catching up with you.
It's okay.
What numbers?
So if you look at the column before, it shows.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
updates with
2024.
2024.
They were adopted.
Was adopted. The VSBA update.
Okay, so, all right.
So you'll see that a lot of the updates adopted are our reviews. We've got quite a bit down here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So just some non-instructional operations left?
There's some board operations, there's some personnel. And and we have a couple there. Aaron, can you help me out, like BO2?
So, there is no personnel policies remaining for the subcommittee to review. They
Yeah.
reviewed all of them. The only ones under students, code C is harassment, hazing, and bullying, HHB. Which the HHB was adopted by MRUSD in 2016. The last VSBA update was 2015. Instruction, it looks like there's 3 policies, or we just did special education, so 2 policies. Average class size and selection of library materials that the subcommittee has not reviewed.
Well, the selection library did.
I was just looking at that,
Yeah.
so just average class size, sorry about that, that's my mistake. Under instruction that the subcommittee hasn't reviewed, but updates, MRUSD has updated the policy since the VSBA model policy release.
Right, and for one of the things that I remember, if I remember correctly, this committee was formed, was trying to get ourselves, so like, did we have things reviewed?
Stuff that's old.
Stuff that's old, so I think, like, I would check the average class sizes, yes, we're there.
Yeah.
And then the community relations, like you have community use of facilities, it was updated, updates were adopted on the 24th, last VSBA was the 23rd. Non-school literature distribution, we haven't had anything. It doesn't look like, if I'm looking at the right 2 columns, either updates adopted or policy sub-reviewed, like that hasn't been looked at. And there's some non-instructional, I think, Judd or Aaron were just saying there's some things in there.
Mm-hmm. And Bill, as a committee, do we want to say, like, just moving forward, now that we've got everything up to date, do we want to say that there's like a certain year mark that we
Yeah,
like to?
One of the things that I used to do in my previous board with a subcommittee, policy subcommittee, is we actually looked at them all and said, do we want to do like sections, so the different lettered sections, and say this year we do this one, just to get it, and it was a 5-year rotation. Or we'll just divide, there's 50 of them, and we're going to do 10 every year, and somehow we do that.
Okay.
Unless there's something, and realizing there's some that might get updated, so then you got to bring them forward.
Uh-huh.
And that way, it's just a cycle. There's a plan for doing that, and it's just the plan that the board has for policy review.
Great.
Which is an easy one to do, it's just I've seen boards go both ways, either having, we're gonna do this section, you know, the student one is the longest, or we're gonna do so many a year. So, but you did, I mean, this group has done the big majority of the work, which is going through and reviewing everything, so it's been a long term. And then the subcommittee also is one where if the board says, hey, we need you to look into, do we need a policy in this area? Doing that research.
So I have another question. Where it says, NA, like non-applicable,
Yeah.
that's just because, it was done in a, you know, within a.
It was done without
Yeah.
without a VSBA, model policy, like all those ones that we have from I'll just go to the board and operations from A35 down.
Yes.
So A35, there isn't a model policy for student representative of the board of directors as far as I know of.
Gotcha.
And then A53, A60 came from a different subcommittee that was done on board governance to start talking about how the board do we work with the organization. That was all from that results-based part. I think you were part of that, Joanna, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
And then just and so those are ones that should get on a rotation. Grant Henderson led a lot of that. He was the chair of that subcommittee. And so those got written from model templates that are international. So we could say, hey, maybe those need to get done in 3 years from now.
Okay. Maybe we could even just kind of make a little key, you know, at the bottom of this, just with that, just to remind us that that's just.
Yeah, yeah. And then some of the other ones like the policy adoption and the flag raising and the fundraising, I know those came from other districts in Vermont that had done that work.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Sure.
work with other schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could do some sort of key.
So then the harassment, hazing, and bullying is one that we can still do?
You could do, I will tell
There
you,
was a reason we didn't.
yeah,
We held back because of.
well, because in law, it gives us the policy pretty much to the letter, and same with the procedure, the way Vermont law is structured. You definitely could review it, but you wouldn't be able to take anything. We'd have to then be careful of how any changes in that.
I wouldn't want to, here's the question, I'm not interested in
Yeah.
changing, you know, whatever the Vermont state law or federal law is on any of that. My question is, I know that in the past, we've had some issues more so with procedure.
Mhm.
And so is there anything that we could do to tighten up the policy or to reiterate within the policy to prevent that from happening? I don't know the answer to that, I'm truly asking.
Yeah,
And you don't have to answer me right now either.
I can't think of something right now, John, that's a good question. When I
Could we
think
write
about
a policy that we have to make sure that, you know, that people they get trainings?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, but there's gotta be something that we can do to prevent the procedure not being followed properly.
I know that's a lot with the work. I'm trying to think about what does the board do on that and the superintendent, like, having had to sit through reviews of that, whether it's an independent review or our own internal audits. I know we've gotten better with that because of.
Unfortunately, you get better at it in practice, right?
You get better at practice, but you also get better
Like that
at it.
has to be the case.
I think people believe in the policy and procedure.
Exactly.
The people who are implementing it, believing in the policy and the procedure and the tone in which it was put in place.
Yes, I just think that sometimes people freeze when something like that happens at their school. It's not something that happens often, which we hope that it's not something that happens often.
It's actually the opposite. It's very regular, and this is what we're hearing from our legal team, is that schools are being taken more and more time to actually have to do these because so much has gotten to the point that it has the potential, not that it is, it's not that rulings are saying it's happening, it's that someone can claim hazing, harassment, or bullying, and you're right into
Right.
investigation.
Right.
And so our procedures got pretty good on that. But it's being the willingness to implement it, realize I'm gonna have to take a whole bunch of time to do something within a 5-day window. That takes a lot of experience.
I don't know. Is there
Yeah,
any
I want to
oversight?
think about it. I
Is
want
there
to
any,
think about it,
you know, and are there any steps that we can put in place to oversee it better? And I don't mean the board to oversee it better, but even administration to
Yeah.
oversee it better to prevent, mistakes from happening.
Yep, which is a great question. So I want to think about that.
Thanks.
So, I wonder, Mary Ann, maybe if you and I sat and brought back to this group a proposal for review for setting up for future years.
Okay.
Because what I used to have was a little different sheet than you see in front of you, but it had the adoption date and the VSBA date, and then had 5 years of columns, and it had a check mark for which ones get renewed, so it just had a slate. You knew when you started in September, it was saying,
We would do that.
here's this one for this year, here's the group we're doing this year.
Sounds good.
So if you'd like something like that, I'm sure Aaron joining us, the three of us, could sit down and do that for the next meeting. We could just make something. Yeah. Bring that back to this group.
I'm gone until October 1st.
Okay. Lucky you.
I know.
Bill, are there other policies that are not on here that you maybe heard about in some of the, you know, superintendent meetings that you attend monthly that you think would be beneficial for our board to take a look at? Or subcommittee, excuse me, to take a look at? And again, don't have to answer right now.
Yeah, I don't have, there's nothing off the top of my head, but that doesn't mean that there isn't. Yeah. My bias is that I'm always like fewer policies, and then I stumble into one that like, oh, we should have had that. But that's my natural bias, so I have to watch myself for that.
All right, so we'll get together, the three of us.
Yeah, when you're back
With
on
our plan.
October 1st, we can do that for.
Are we planning on keeping the next scheduled subcommittee meeting?
I don't know if we need to, we could go to November if we wanted to.
Let's do November.
Yeah, so skip in October.
So we'll skip October, and then the next meeting will be, November 10th at 3.
November 10th at 3.
It should already be on the schedule, calendar for me.
I'm in Guatemala. That's so exciting.
You want to do October and skip November?
Sure.
Could we do the
I could do
first
the-
Monday in November, maybe?
I could do well, we'd have to meet. I leave. On the 5th and get back on the 12th,
What if we did,
17th of October? That would give us a time, the first week to meet.
that, you mean the 17th of November, which is a Monday?
Yeah.
Would that work for people
17th?
of November? I see Jess, you nodding, so I'm taking that as a yes.
Works for me.
I have a, hold on, let me just check. I have one appointment there.
That's fine.
She's gonna call.
So is the next meeting just gonna be, basically the proposal? for the
Proposal,
schedule?
I have to answer two things that Joanna asked, which was
Yeah.
what other policies might we need, and reflections on how the board policy on hazing harassment bullying might help to ensure that it's.
Okay, I think I can do the 17th, I've got to be done by 3:45-ish.
Yeah, I've got a 2:30 appointment unfortunately in Burlington.
Do you want to go with,
We could do November.
or do you want to do the 3rd or the 27th? That's split the 2 months.
We could do the 3rd. I thought that's what the first thing we said, wasn't it?
Nope, the regularly scheduled ones are the second Mondays, so that would be
Oh, okay.
November 10th. Yeah.
I can do the 3rd.
Yeah, the 3rd looks good.
I was putting down the 3rd.
Okay, 3rd looks good. Karen?
Yeah, that works for me.
Jess, you good on the 3rd? Okay, so we'll do the 3rd.
Good, okay.
Yeah, we'll move Leon, Lisa. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
I usually stack my Mondays and Tuesdays with these meetings.
Yeah. All right, so our next meeting is on November 3rd. We'll meet with you and you
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
okay, so the meeting is adjourned. 3:37.
Thanks all.
Thank you.